Welcome to the ALLEIGHT podcast, your ultimate source for all things rugby. I'm Adrian Pavat, alongside me, my co-host Angelo Petroso, and
Ons is binne.
Osis Binne.
Episode 24.
24.
Talk about it. Lovely weekend.
100%.
Wet.
Wet
Cold.
weather.
Talk about
but
it.
yeah, I
Talk
think
about it.
better weather this week.
Yeah, definitely. But I think just for today maybe, because the weather prediction is quite hectic.
And it's much more humid here in Stellenbosch compared to where we came from now.
Yeah, we go.
And we're obviously going to touch base with the international results.
Yeah.
As well as the club rugby, not so much.
Not so much
club
because of,
rugby,
I
because
think,
of rain and
the weather
obviously
conditions.
a lot of games that rained out. But in each league there was some games.
Some games,
so we're
100%.
definitely going to give the people the results, and then obviously the main thing.
The main thing stays the main thing.
The main thing stay the main thing. Our guest, obviously.
Yeah, we go.
He also played Super Rugby,
Super
for
Rugby,
the Kings, and then he
100%.
made a move to the BLITZBOK.
In Stellies.
And he was the captain of the
Captain.
BLITZBOK as well for a period of time. So, and
Here we go. ALLEIGHT. Do you want a milkshake for episode 24? Shake it up. With who?
Shakes Soyizwapi.
Shakes Soyizwapi. Here we go.
Shakes, welcome to the ALLEIGHT podcast. It's a different set here. We normally do one set, but we're actually grateful for the space here at SAS. So, Shakes, thanks once again for having us here and being on our show.
Yes.
And availing yourself.
Yeah, no, thanks, gents. Thanks for having me on the show. It's a massive honor and privilege for me to sit here. I remember we sat on Youth Day and we had a chat about it, and I like the vision that you guys have, and that's why it was a no-brainer for me to join. And I mean, whatever little percent I have to contribute to your vision, I think it's a privilege and an honor.
Shakes, let's start you off. Maybe a lot of people don't know your background, but who is Shakes Soyizwapi?
I like that question. Siviwe is
Here we go.
Siviwe is a child of God.
Yes, talk about it.
I am I'm a husband. I am a brother to 3 sisters and a son to a mom. Shakes is the rugby player.
Yes.
Shakes is the rugby player, born and raised in Maclear, Eastern Cape. I think that's the distinction between Siviwe and Shakes, you know. And,
100%.
Siviwe is who I am, and Shakes is the guy that plays rugby.
And can I ask you, where did you get the nickname Shakes? Because I've heard it all the time. Because I know you as Siviwe.
Yes,
when you
yes.
started playing for the Kings.
Definitely. Super Strikers. I don't know if you guys...
Yes.
So long story short, Super Strikers is the comic. My dad was a soccer coach. He used to buy the newspaper at Engine.
Yeah.
I got the comic book, and in this comic, this guy Shakes was the star of the football team.
100%.
And I was that guy. So I picked up.
So, Shakes, as we know, as men, if you have a little boy, is a son, you know he must play rugby.
Yes.
This is non-negotiable.
Yeah.
100%. So, what inspired you to pursue career in rugby?
Funny enough, like I say, my dad was a soccer coach. He had the ambitions of me playing soccer. Growing up, I traveled with him to all the soccer games that they had. So they were, I'd say, on a rugby level, they were playing provincial. So he coached provincial. So we'd go Western Cape, KZN. He'll take me along, just exposing me to football. But I think what actually got me into rugby, while I was doing that, by the way, I did play rugby as just an extramural activity, like in the week, so that I don't finish school and then spend the afternoon doing nothing. My folks thought it'll be great for me to stay out of trouble and play a bit of sports. But I think where the bug bit me to actually get into rugby properly was when I moved to a rugby school in King Williamstown, Dale College.
Oh, what a school! What a school!
It's more rugby than books there.
Books.
So I think when I got there, the bug bit me, and the rest was history.
Phew.
Shakes, so if you can describe the feeling or how you felt when you made your debut for South Africa for the BLITZBOK, where was it? You know, in which,
I'll never forget it.
you know where it was and the feeling and the feeling you felt, because I mean, not everybody gets the opportunity to do that.
100%.
No. I made my debut in Hong Kong. I'll never forget it. My roommate was Branko du Preez, most capped Springbok Sevens player of all time. I made my debut in Hong Kong. I'll never forget it. My roommate was Branko du Preez, most capped Springbok Sevens player of all time. And I remember coming into the sevens. So I did play 15s. I played for the Kings, but while I was still at the Kings, I always had an interest to play sevens.
Yeah.
So when I was still in school and played provincial under 18 academy, my then coach of that team became my agent, and as he coached me after the tournament, I had all these opportunities, and he was like, "You are a sevens player. You can't play 15s." So I thought about it, and I think he planted that seed for me to play sevens. So while I was at the Kings, I just came in. It still happens till today, where you have players that come in and come on a trial,
Yes.
or play a tournament like the one we had last week in Mauritius. So I was doing both of them, and then in Hong Kong, after moving here permanently after 2015, sorry, I'm jumping around, but 2015, I made the decision to move to the sevens, and then 2016, I made my debut in Hong Kong, and it was unbelievable, very memorable. I was very nervous, but yeah, it was truly special.
And can you remember the amount of tries you scored that weekend?
In that weekend, I think I scored 5 tries.
Openly.
And it's not to say that I was the greatest rugby player or anything, but I think playing alongside guys like Cecil Africa and spending that
A lot of experience.
a lot of experience, spending that week in the room with Branko, like he shared so much with me, and he got me comfortable of what was coming, and playing alongside guys like Cecil Africa was just next level. And if you can go back and look at the tries, like he's setting me up, they putting me into space. All I need to do as a wing, I came in as a wing,
Execute.
is to just execute,
Execute,
finish, and
please.
score the tries. So yeah.
So Shakes, everyone have this thing that rugby is easy, right? In a professional setup like sevens, and we know sevens is difficult. Training is intense, it's high. And a lot of challenges come your way as a sevens player, or as a rugby player. So how do you overcome the challenges? Because each and everyone have different challenges. Can be injuries, can be mental state, anything. How did you fight your challenges in the game?
Yeah, look, I'll be honest with you. Playing sevens was the biggest challenge of my life in itself. As you say, it's very tough. The conditioning is extreme, and you really have to be fit. The level of professionalism was something that I had never been exposed to before. 100%. So that in itself was the first challenge. When I got here, fortunately enough, I had a great group of guys around me that helped me come in, guys that were seniors at the time, and I could just fit in, and they just kind of mentored me into the team and helped me to understand the ropes around here. With that being said, I think the biggest challenge after that is, number one, injuries is part of the game.
100%.
11th of August 2023, I ruptured my ACL in my knee. We were actually playing a social tournament, preparing for the season here at Maclear, and my knee was gone. That can take you up to between 8 and 12 months, a whole year out of the game. So that was a really challenging time for me. 21st of August, the same year, I went for my op, and the hard work started. It was very frustrating. It was very testing mentally. Physically, I had to be stay in shape because your weight gain, particularly when you are injured, you tend to pick up weight. That affects how you recover. So I had to stay conditioned as well. And every day was hard. Sometimes there were days where my knee wasn't responding. I just felt like maybe I pushed it hard the day before. Now it doesn't want to extend to its full capacity. Small things like that that were challenging. So that was a really hard time, but that was a time that actually helped me a lot in my tail end of my career. I'm playing rugby now towards the end of my career. So it helped me mentally because I can face every day with telling myself that if you've overcome that, you can literally overcome anything. And 28th of Feb 2024, I was back on the field training with a team. That camp, they were actually traveling to go to Los Angeles, and I didn't make that. I wasn't eligible, and then I was ready to go to Hong Kong, play that camp, but I was a bit rusty, so I wasn't selected. So I just needed an extra camp. Then
100%.
made the return for Singapore last year before the Olympics. Played Singapore, played Madrid, and then was lucky enough to be in the Olympic team. But that's one challenge that really tested me throughout my whole career. And I didn't have a lot of injuries throughout my career, but that injury was really one that rocked me. And the second challenge was the year after Coach Neil left the Sevens, and we literally went on a rebuilding phase. We had an exodus of players that went to 15s, guys like JC Pretorius, Sakoisa Makata, and the likes. And each tournament was just hard. Starting from ground zero, new players, and the toughest tournament I played in that season was in LA. I've never come stone last in a tournament. And I'm sure you guys know that this team, if they put this jersey on and have this badge on their chest, they go out there and either come first consistently or they get knocked out in a final or something like that. In that tournament, we came stone last. And that was very hard. That was a difficult challenge. But you have to just tell yourself that it's part of the game. Life has its ups and downs.
100%.
And you'll bounce back after some time. And I think that's what the boys are currently doing now.
So Shakes, you mentioned you had a few senior guys that played a great role in shaping you in terms of getting that experience and getting that calmness when in high pressure games. How do you do it? I know you were the captain and you are a senior player. How do you do that to just get the youngsters like calm down, especially in high pressure games like finals, semi-finals?
So we deal with high pressure scenarios in the boardroom, off the field, where we kind of simulate and lay out what could happen. That's where we deal with the situation, with a high pressure situation. However, in the moment, now when you're in the final,
it's
and
different.
the pressure's on,
Difficult.
it's difficult. You can't be screaming at each other, because you're losing each other in that moment.
100%.
And you can't be too detailed and kind of trying to chaperone and direct people on what they need to do in the moment. That also, in most cases, does not work. So as a senior, and most of the guys that have been there, what I personally do is I try to ensure that everyone around me can see that I'm in the moment and I am calm in the moment. More than what I say, they're going to see how I am reacting to the situation.
100%.
So the more relaxed and focused I am to take on the task and kind of being the catalyst in terms of being the guy to make that big hit or turning the ball over and making sure that I'm chasing back in that moment to stop them from trying scoring the try
Yeah.
in that pressure moment, then for me, I believe that really helps everyone around me, particularly the young guys, to be like, okay, no, I also don't need to panic in this moment.
100%. So, Shakes, how do you maintain peak physical and mental conditions with a demanding schedule from sevens?
Yeah, no, that's a hard one. That's a hard one, and it's like I said with the injury, like you need to ensure that you stay in a good physical condition and mentally. But for me, especially now towards to the longer I've played, I try to do more than the younger guys. My body is not it's not I can get unfit easily. I can pick up weight easier
Doesn't look that way.
Yeah. Body's still like 25 years old.
because I try to do a little bit extra. I have to do extra.
Yeah.
Because I remember at 20, I actually had the honor to play with like Tiger Mangweni and Andre Strauss. He was my captain at the Kings. So he told me, you need to recover, jump in the ice bath, and I never listened to him. And he was the ultimate professional. Tiger, he was the ultimate professional. And I never listened to him. So I learned. I had to learn the hard way.
way.
So, Shakes, is it fine to say age? It's a difficult thing when you get older.
Age is a difficult thing. You can't run away from it. It's scientific. You will feel... Coming back to that story.
Yeah.
At that age, 2021, I slept late. After training, didn't need to recover, jump in the ice bath and all those things. The next day, I can do it again.
Yes,
no
100%.
problems. You can't do it now. You can't do it now. The closer you get to 30, particularly when you go over 30, you sleep right, eat right, recover after your session, stretch, massages, all the modalities. We're actually blessed enough to have everything that I mentioned here at SAS. So I get to tap into that. So I think doing a little bit of extra conditioning, that's what I need to do. I need to look after my body even more in terms of recovery. And with the tests that we do, your bleep test, your conditioning and your body fat, I need to be at a better level than... That's how I look at it. I need to test better. I need to test, have a good score. I need to have all good numbers just to be a little bit ahead. So the focus is a little bit extra to keep that physical condition. And I think mentally, sorry, before I start talking too much, mentally you do your best to try and make sure that if you have a burst pipe at home, that's fixed. If you have a difference, or you're having differences in your marriage, make sure that's sorted out. If you need to talk to your wife about something, address it. If you try to make sure if you can look after your health as best as possible, because as much as those things, and we are professionals, those things, we are still human, and those things can affect you when you come into work.
100%.
So if you try to tick those boxes and make sure that those areas are kind of taken care of and addressed from your side, do your best to address them from your side. I think mentally you can be in the game and work on your physical as well.
100%.
Greatness.
And then Shakes, obviously there was one or two standout tournaments for you. What is one of the most memorable tournaments for you, and one that I think that's like your standout tournament for you personally, and as a team, because I know normally like the BLITZBOK, they're the brothers.
Yeah.
Yes.
So one tournament that you think stood out for you.
For me personally, it's the one we spoke about, my debut.
Your debut.
Yeah, making my debut and putting on the jersey for the first time. Like I said, I was very nervous. That was actually something that I looked forward to for a long time in my playing career. While I was still at school, I never actually made any provincial level, and that was always an aspiration. And luckily, when I was 18, that was the last opportunity I got. They also didn't make Craven Week, but got a call up to join the academy team, which I had almost not made as well. So after that, I had the aspirations of becoming a BLITZBOK. And after I found out that I have the option to play sevens, I started doing my research and watching the guys and knowing who's who. And that's when I got to see the likes of Carl Brown, Cecil Africa, and Philip Snyman. So when I got here, I was like, this is also what I want. And playing in that first tournament and making my debut was definitely memorable. And the second one is winning Cape Town last year.
Here we go. I think for any South African sevens player, that's a big thing, eh?
Yeah, it's massive. And for me, what makes it special is because I was here when we won it for the first time. And I was in every season after that watching us carry that monkey on our back, losing each and every year.
Was it for 11 years?
Yeah.
And Shakes, you were the captain last season, right?
I was the captain 2022.
22.
Yeah, 22. Then 23, I got the
Oh, that
injury.
was just before the injury.
Yeah, then on the injury, then I didn't get captaincy, and then when I came back, we already had a captain. So yeah, I think winning in Cape Town. That's why we danced the way we danced.
So it's like representing our country. We have a beautiful country on that level.
Yeah.
What does that mean for you as a person, as Shakes, the rugby player,
Yeah.
and cultural? What does that mean for you?
It's a privilege. It's the highest honor to
Definitely.
represent your country. And what makes it an honor is that there is no other level above
This is
that.
the highest
This
level.
is the highest level.
Exactly.
And as much as it's a privilege, it's also, there's a lot of pressure because you are now playing for the whole of South Africa.
Yes.
And you know how much we are committed to our rugby.
Yeah, and the critics of
And people don't see the pressure behind the scenes, you understand? They
no.
only want to see you perform.
No, it was actually the year I was talking about when we were rebuilding. We had to go back after that season and we looked at all the comments that came in, the criticism, this team is done, these guys are finished, this is not the same BLITZBOK team that we know. There was a lot, and we used that to fuel ourselves for the upcoming season.
Yes, build again.
Going into the Olympics, build again. And that's what we actually, one of the things we used to get ourselves ready to qualify for the Olympics. And that's what drove us to qualify. But playing for South Africa, it's a massive honor, and personally, it's one of the highest achievements of my life. And I think culturally, you can see when you get back home, like there's never been anyone in my hometown that put on the Springbok jersey ever before. So when you come back, you received
and you sort of like the hero, or not the hero, but like somebody to look up to.
Yes, and that's a responsibility on its own, So that's really special, and it's the perks, if you can call it a perk, but you have a massive responsibility now because you are the guy to the
100%.
rest of the other guys that also would want to play at that level.
And then Shakes, there's two questions I want to ask you. I wanted to ask you, obviously you coming towards your end of your career. Anything in particular that you're gonna pursue?
Nothing in particular.
Coaching maybe?
I always, and a lot of people ask if I would want to be a coach. I'd definitely take that up. I love rugby. I enjoy being in the sport, and I love sevens as well. I'm currently studying a BSc in strength and conditioning. Love training as well. So
well, we can see.
really love training. So if I can stay in rugby with my degree, that'll be amazing. However, I've got a passion for people as well. So I think that gives me a bit of both with that degree, but it kind of limits me or restricts me to the rugby industry.
Yeah.
But if I can tap into a wide range of human beings in different industries doing different things, I don't particularly know what that looks like, but working with people, helping people realize that a lot of things in life all rise and fall on your mindset. You know, you can literally achieve whatever you set your mind to. I mean, we have so many examples. Guys from like Sia's from Zwide.
Yeah.
Zwide is the smallest um, um, underprivileged area, and it's kind of like nowhere. But look at him now, the Springbok captain, and he's won a couple of World Cups back to back.
Sure.
So those are the things I like, just tapping into people that kind of understand that they have a potential to be something. But even if you don't know that you have the potential to become something, but just giving towards someone else. So, but I'm not too close to thinking of stopping playing.
Okay. No, 100%. I always believe you play till your body says
Yeah,
you can't
yeah,
anymore.
yeah.
And then the last question, you spoke about obviously small towns, and you said
Yes.
that you are obviously, you're the only person that represents your
Yeah,
country
yeah.
in rugby, so to say. Any advice to the youngsters out there from small towns, from your suburbs that drugs is abused,
Yeah.
alcohol is abused? Any advice to those youngsters that has a dream similar to your dream?
I think the one thing that will always be constant generationally is hard work, discipline, consistency, perseverance. And one day I'd love to sit down, and that's why I like to chat to younger guys, is that looks different. And so it's easy for me to sit here and name those things, but what discipline actually looks like, I need to show you in a way.
100%.
So, but with sticking to that, I think the one thing that I can add to all those values is just understanding that how times change. You know, like you have to be able to understand how things are operating currently in 2025. This generation, it's not the same. Like, things are instant now. So you have to understand that dynamic, that, okay, you can receive something easily, but you can also lose it just as easy. So if you understand that in this microwave generation, I can't have that mindset.
Yeah.
I still need to understand that if I get a no, I can get another no.
Yeah.
And maybe 20 no's before I get the yes.
Yes, 100%.
But
That's life.
that is life.
That's
but
life.
if you have the same mindset of the generation of, okay, I got a no, the one no, now I'm done. I'm useless. You can't have that mindset, you know. So that's why I'm like, it's really hard to say it, because I kind of have to show you what resilience looks like.
Yeah.
You know, and but I think the one thing I always lived by going into rugby and in my career was, you never know who's watching. So with all that hard work that you put in, being persevering through the hard times, and being resilient through all the no's that you get, is you never know who's watching you. So that one day where you think, okay, maybe it will be another no, let me just give my best in whatever I'm doing. Maybe there's a Coach Rassi in that moment, and he can see you. I'll take an example, a guy like Ndokozo Makaza.
Yeah.
Sure.
He just kept on being consistent at the level that he was playing at.
100%.
And he kept getting better each and every year. So he kept being consistent, he kept being patient, he kept working hard. And then one day,
With all the no's in his head.
with all the no's, and because he didn't get a yes from the first year of the
100%. That's a no already.
That's a no already. Now the fourth year, he got the yes.
Yeah.
And someone was watching from the first year already.
It's a great example. 3 no's.
100%. And I mean, he's somebody that's coming from Varsity Cup.
Yeah.
into a
Consistent.
Springbok camp.
He's gonna make history now if he gets to play.
I hope. I mean, I played against him, and I really hope and pray that he gets his cap, and I hope that he proves a lot of people wrong.
Yeah.
Because I think a lot of people, the critics will always talk,
Yeah.
and they will say this, and that. But I think that he is one player that made a difference.
Yes.
And I think a lot of youngsters can look up to him because, like, nobody would have thought he would have made it. I mean, everybody knew he was going to get a contract, a provincial contract, but not even playing for his provincial
Not
team.
yet.
Straight into the.
Straight in. And that's the thing with people. They want to see or have a one way to the top.
Yeah.
They want you to go, even when the lighties ask me or send me a DM, what do I need to do? I don't know what you need to do. There's no one way where you say you play Craven Week, and then after Craven Week you have to play for your province, and then after province you get selected to play. There's no one way. And here's an example we just spoke about.
And I think people plan the way forward.
Yeah.
But they don't plan for the obstacles.
It's always there.
Obstacles is part of life. I think you need to plan. So, like, if you're in a marriage, you must have an emergency budget.
Yeah.
You understand? Because anything can happen. You can have the most expensive insurance.
Yeah.
But anything can happen. Then there's that one thing insurance not covering it.
100%.
You understand?
That's so true. Man.
So if you plan for the obstacles as well.
Yeah.
Because it will be there.
I agree with
And
you.
they say plan to fail. Plan to fail. I think people tend to think life is sweet.
Yeah,
And I think that's something that we as people and human beings need to learn.
100%.
So like Shake say, plan to fail. In a nutshell, that is Shake Soyizwapi. Here we go. Rugby results and fixtures. And obviously the Springboks played against the Barbarians.
Yeah,
54 points to 7.
I expected more from the Barbarians and they look very unprepared. For me personally, for such a bunch of players who played international and professional setup, I don't think necessarily they were not prepared, but I think they were supposed to dish a better performance.
I think Cape Town swallowed them in. I just think that if you're in Cape Town and things are lovely, you know, the place is lovely, the wine tastes.
As I said, they're still dancing.
Yes. Doing Cape Town. So that's basically my answer for you. And then obviously if you have people like Kurtley Arendse dancing and Cheslin Colby dancing the way they dance,
I think
they danced on Saturday. Then
as we currently at SAS, there's a lot of SAS speed, right? Because that guys came from here. They built all the speed here, all the strength and power, but don't take it away. They knew the game.
100%.
They knew the game.
100%. But I think Cheslin Colby was exceptionally well.
different
Kurtley
breed,
Arendse definitely well. And Andre Esther isn't going for 20 minutes at flank.
Yeah, as they said, the hybrid player. You talk about the hybrid player. You can't outthink Rassi. You can outthink the game, but you can't outthink Rassi. I think Rassi have a PhD in this game, man.
He's a doctor. Why? They gave him a doctorate. There's Dr. Rashi.
Here we go.
And then we have the British and Irish Lions, 54 points to 7. Oh, well, we expected that to happen against the Western Force. I think they're going to do well, but I think Australia might give them a upset. I think so. And then Japan losing out to the Maori All Blacks, 53 points to 20.
I expected a bigger score, but they're still big. But
I mean, if you look at the overall game, if you watch the overall game, I think it was an intense game, and Japan held them for about 60 minutes, and then the Maori All Blacks just opened the taps and the water flew.
Yeah, but here we go.
And then we have the Currie Cup Division 1. Let's not forget about them.
Here we go.
Border losing to Falke 33 points to 15.
Sure.
SVD losing out to the Noval Griffins 40 points to 31.
I think the Griffins is slowly but surely busy to getting back
Yeah,
in
they're
the
getting
system
back.
again.
They're getting back. And then the Leopards losing out to the Eastern Province, as Shakes mentioned, he played for them.
Yeah.
Well, also known as the Kings back in the day.
Here we go.
They beating the Leopards 34 points to 21. And then Ange, we never had a lot of club rugby results, but there was
Due
two
to the
results in the Super League A, three in the Super League B, and then obviously one in the Super League C.
Yes.
Let's start the Super League A. Tygerberg losing to Hemis 58 points to 0. Not expecting that from Tygerberg,
Tygerberg.
but I think Hemis had a much heavier pack, and I think they maybe played a more forward-driven game and wet underfoot. Now normally suit Tygerberg because they love flair, they love to run with the ball. So.
They want the dry ball.
Yeah, they want.
But I think if this game was played in the Hawk,
different
at Florida Park, different ball game,
scenario.
and it will be a tight score. I
100%.
can assure you, because not even the game, just the venue, man.
100%.
The venue.
100%. And then Eskom is beating Brackenfell 19 points to 10. Then we have the Super League B. Franschhoek beating Macassar 23 points to 13. Belvoir losing out to CPUT, and this game was played on Friday night, and Saturday CPUT left to USA. So
Sure.
Committed, eh? Belvoir losing out to CPUT 12 points to 22.
It's a clear derby, eh?
And then,
Belvoir derby.
and then obviously another derby, Collegians versus Amadeus. Collegians beating Amadeus 8 points to 7.
That's what you call a nail biter.
Tough in the Krief gat.
Here we go.
Collegians coming out victorious. And then Strand losing out to Rangers 10 points to 12.
On Gastro, eh?
On Gastro.
Difficult one.
On Gastro. And then obviously Ange, Junior World Cup started as well. We had the Junior box also giving Australia a thumping.
Yeah.
70 points. And then we will obviously see on Wednesday there will be a British and Irish Lions fixture against the Reds, and that will be played at 12. The World Cup, Junior World Cup will also continue, where France will take on Wales, Australia will take on Scotland, and England will take on South Africa. And that will happen on Friday. And then we have international rugby. The Maori All Blacks will take on Scotland.
I think Scotland will take them.
I'll go All Blacks. Obviously, I'm All Black. Japan versus Wales. I'll go Japan.
Wales.
New Zealand versus France. Obviously, I'll go All Blacks.
All Blacks.
Springboks versus Italy.
I just go for the box.
I'll go for the box as well. And then Georgia versus Ireland.
Yo.
I'll go Ireland as well. And then the Currie Cup Division 1 fixtures. Falke versus SVD. Leopards versus Nobel Griffins, and Eastern Province versus Border.
Bulldogs.
I'll go Eastern Province against Border. I'll go Griffins against Leopards, and I'll go Falke against SVD.
Same sequence.
100%.
I will go the same sequence.
That's our fixtures in the rugby results.
Here we go.
Obviously, Ange, we need to thank our sponsors, FL Limited
Always.
and SSA Custom Designs, for obviously always being in our corner. So if you need any law advice, we got your people. Dial them. They will sort you out. So say, ons is altyd binne en hulle is binne. And then we would like to thank SAS for availing the space for us.
100%.
And then obviously, Shakes, we would like to thank you for your busy schedule and taking the time out of your day to sit with the ALLEIGHT podcast. I mean, we spoke about it I think 2 weeks ago at Youth Day at BTD, and I'm glad we never wasted time with it, and having you there, and obviously your stories, it opened my mind to a lot of things, and I know for a fact it will open up a lot 100%. Of the youth out there, because I mean that's the people we want to speak to, and we want to open their minds to different opportunities. But so we would just like to thank you on what of our that you availed your time.
Thank you guys, thank you very much for having me.
That's a big pleasure, guys. That was episode 24. That was your milkshake with a lot of info
100%.
and a lot of inspiration. Talk about it. Huh? There you have it. Shakes was here. Episode 24. Episode 24. Then I need 3 things, guys. Shakes, 3 things.
Okay, that's easy.
Only 3. Come again?
That's easy.
Talk about
Just
it.
3 things.
Just 3 things. Like,
Share.
Subscribe.
Here we go.